What I've been saying since January is that I think it's going to be what I call a big bounce or a small bull in the Bitcoin market and in the SP 500 and the stock market. I didn't have much to base it on, except there was a very, very powerful statistic at the start of the year that only flashes once every few years. It basically said that when the breadth of the New York Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq is over like 3-1 or something, the breadth meaning how many stocks go up, how many stocks go down, and it stays above 3-1 for like 10 days in a row or some sort of metric like that, then basically it means that in the next 6 to 12 or even 18 months, the Nasdaq and the SP 500 would go up 6 to 18%, something like that. And it was 98% accurate. It's been flashed only like once a year for the last 50, 70 years, and it was like extraordinarily accurate. So when I saw that, I was like, I think this is going to happen. So, but I didn't know how it was going to happen because everything looked so gloom and doom at the start of the year. Turns out the Nasdaq and the SP 500 went up. It was because of the whole AI thing. Only 7 stocks pumped, and it was the whole talk of the town was about the AI thing. And yet in Bitcoin, I didn't know why it was going to go up, but then the narrative came along, and it was the ETF thing. So if you notice what's been happening in the stock market, I think something very similar that happened to the stock market is about to happen to the crypto market. What happened to the stock market is essentially 7 stocks held the weight of the entire bull run, whilst the other stocks languished, and they basically prospered on the promise, the speculation, the potential of this whole AI revolution. Now, something similar that could be happening right now in because it was news driven, it's everyone's all in on this AI thing. If you're into stocks, whilst at the same time, if you were trading, if you're into crypto, basically, the news, the narrative is there's going to be these twin ETFs from BlackRock. Like even, I remember this. I told my Discord, I said, guys, an ETH ETF's coming, and I showed them 4 ETF applications from one's from ARK, one's from one's called like 21 shares, one's called all these. There were 4 applications, but none of them was anywhere near as big as BlackRock. The market was interested, but not that interested. Yeah, ETH spot ETF's coming. And then 3 days ago, when the BlackRock ETF hit, it's like the BlackRock ETH ETF news broke, not officially, but it's looking very likely. It just lit a rocket fire a few under the market, and basically we've seen ETH behave in a way that we haven't seen for like 3 to 6 months, and then it's woken up all the altcoins, Solana, all the ETH competitors, all the ETH layer ones, and I thought to myself, okay, in what I call a general bear market, like what we're in right now, basically everything tends to go down because or stay bouncing along the bottom because the Fed is still doing QT. But but for an asset to go up in a tough environment like this, it needs a narrative. And the entire Nasdaq's almost near new all-time highs because it has this narrative of AI revolution. And I think for crypto in general, before Bitcoin didn't have that problem either. Bitcoin had the Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock going on as well. Now it's a twin ETF. It's Bitcoin ETF, it's ETH ETF, and if there's going to be an ETH ETF, then a number of ETH related stocks are much more in the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is quite small, are going to take off as well, and that's going to have a rotation effect, and they're going to rotate from those ones to ETH competitors, whatever. So I thought we are probably on the cusp, or already started like a week ago, a small, in my view, what it would be a small bull in the altcoins market. So to me, I'll simplify by saying twin ETF effect is similar to the AI effect, except for the cryptos.
You know what I think is so interesting about this? So Pablo was saying that there were 7 sort of AI-driven large cap stocks that carried the whole stock market. And if you look at the returns of the stock market without those 7, so just the S&P 500 minus those 7, it was basically flat and not very good because, oil and utilities and all these other sectors don't really care about AI, and they don't really care about tech. And here's the kicker. This is the banger for crypto. Crypto does care about Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? We already know that the Bitcoin price, the Ethereum price, is what carries the altcoin market. We know that if Bitcoin and Ethereum have sort of surprising and unusual and exciting price pumps, then the altcoins follow. So that's sort of a special circumstance in crypto that the stock market doesn't really benefit from. The rest of the S&P 500 doesn't really care if there's these 7, winners of AI. So I think it's even better for crypto to have this sort of this catalyst for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, that's the best thing that we could want. If there was a catalyst for, let's just say, only Solana or only AVAX or only ICP, and those pumped a little bit, the world's not really going to care that much. But if we see Bitcoin and Ethereum make these big moves, that's what brings the eyeballs and the attention back. And that's sort of why Pablo and I got to talking about these small caps. It was sort of his idea to say, well, we could get sort of basic average returns in large caps, and there's nothing wrong with that. We were kind of debating the strategy of, should you play large caps or should you play small caps? But that's what got us really thinking about it. And I'm also excited that the Virtual Bacon is with us tonight because I love his insights on the ecosystems. Like, I've seen some of his recent posts on the rotation that might be happening from Solana to AVAX. And so, as we see Bitcoin maybe finish a pump in Ethereum, and then the money is rotating into those. What do you think about that? Your name is Dennis, right? I mean, should I call you?
Yeah, you can call me Dennis.
Wait, I always thought it was Kevin. Just joking.
Actually,
Just joking.
Very old joke.
Just joking.
We used to have on. No. It was actually. You're not the first guy. So I think it was back in the TikTok phase. Yeah. Must have been like, I don't know. Maybe I call myself Kevin sometime or something. I don't know. Yeah, but so I think the altcoin rotation is definitely happening. Like, I'm personally not sure if this is the official, 2-year start of the bull run kind of thing, but we're definitely like in a brief window where, coming from the ETF news mainly and leading up to ETF launch, maybe as early as January, even there's a chance that it launches, next week. Very small chance, I would say, but all of that and carry on over to Ethereum, carrying on over to other large altcoins. So I think at least from now until Q1 next year, it should be a good time for crypto in general.
Which ecosystem do you think it's rotating to? So Brian said, you said earlier that you think it's going from Solana to AVAX. Is that right?
Yeah. So I think it has been happening a couple times already. So when October 26th, when the Bitcoin broke out from 30 to 34K, it was Link, it was Solana, it was like Interactive and a bunch of those guys, and then it was like PayPay as well, the market leaders, and then those cooled off, and then some other guys ran. So it's just kind of back and forth right now between the few ecosystems that and few different types of coins that have been kind of raising each other. And AVAX is one that I think it's still in people's minds. That's very recent. Like, it was very popular in November 2021 when it was like Solana, AVAX, Luna before it died. So now, as next week my bet is on AVAX. Yeah.
Okay, we've seen AVAX pump up, but however, like, at the same time, you could say Arbitrum is pumping up, Matic's pumping up, a lot of them.
For sure, yeah.
And Matic's making a move as well. Even I think it was Atom. Atom is the last one to move because it made a new low last month. But if you look at where it is now compared to where Atom was, say 3 weeks ago, it's like a 30 to 40% move off the lows as well. So it could actually even be more than one ecosystem.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, AVAX.
It's going to be quite a few. Yeah.
AVAX does look like it's kind of leading this charge. It's kind of before, when Solana was moving, was a one horse race. It was like all the other layer ones were kind of just watching, making about 30% gains, 40% gains, while Solana made what do you call a 4x gain, I think, from $17. Whereas now it's all the horses are running, and AVAX is leading for now, but I think it could be like a 2-horse, even a 3-horse race. And yeah. Also, something that Dennis Virtual Bacon just said, I want to clarify on. I said in my first intro that I think this is, and also in my earlier videos, that I think this is a small bull. I clarified this in my Discord, so I'll clarify it again here. Dennis said he's not sure if this is going to be the start of a 2-year bull run. What I've been saying in my Discord is essentially that I think there's a very good chance, like 70, 80, 90% chance we get some sort of recession next year. And if I have to bet, I would lean towards the first half of the year, March, April, Feb, somewhere around there. And if that was to happen, then basically stocks crash because they've been pricing a soft landing. When the crash happens, invariably crypto gets taken down as well. That's just what happens. In that case, it would be a small bull because then you'd get a run up between now to say Christmas or January, latest Super Bowl, and then everyone talks about recession, and then boom, it goes down. And then it starts again. And then, of course, if a recession comes, then Fed's going to print money like hell. But for the first 3 to 4 weeks or even 2 months, 3 months, Fed's not going to react quickly enough. They are always too slow. And what that means is basically you get a crash. And then we start again. But probably it's going to be a higher low. If that does happen, then it's going to be a higher low for Bitcoin. Say Bitcoin's at 40K, 41K when that happens. Then it goes down to something like, say, goes down 50%. It'll be like 20K, 21K. And then it goes up again from there, a higher low. But for some altcoins, like who are still making new lows, like Arbitrum, like Atom, who are making new lows even just a month ago, if a 50% decline happened in Bitcoin and a major crash happened in the Nasdaq, then they could go down and make a new low. So that's the more likely scenario that I see. But let's say if I'm wrong, and let's say if there is a soft landing and we don't get a recession till 2025, then we've got between now and end of 2024, that's like another 14 months of runway, where altcoins can rally until some sort of recession comes. Like, come on, a recession's going to come sooner or later. It's just the end of a business cycle. When you tighten rates, when you hike rates, it's the end of the business cycle. Recession comes. It's just a matter of when, not if. Stocks crash. When stocks crash 30-40%, and then Bitcoin goes down even more. Altcoins go down even more, and then that's the end of the cycle, and then we start anew again. That's always, it's like spring, winter, autumn and summer. So I just want people to be aware that I think the odds of a recession in 2023 is quite high. I'm thinking early, like first half next year, but it could be 2025. But I think the odds of that are small. So that's why it's a small bull run, and a higher low for Bitcoin after this drop. But it can be an even lower low for some altcoins after this move.